it's Riley here. So it's been a hot minute since I've done a video, and I wanted to touch base on a couple things throughout this video, but I'm just going to get right down to it. So firstly, the reason why it's been taking me a long time to do more videos is because life has been hectic and things have been changing quite quickly in the last little bit, so I'll kind of give you a bit of an update. So with work, I was on a gradual return to work program after having my surgery and major complications. I was off on long-term disability, and I'm still actually not quite at 100% back to work, but I'm like pretty close. I think I only have 2 more weeks and I'll be back to my full hours, but I'm not back to full duties yet. So I will be right now 6.5 hours at 4 days a week. Next week, actually, I'm at 8 hours and 4 days. And then the following week, it'll be 8 hours and 5 days. But I am actually talking to my work to see if I can just do 4 days a week. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, and I'll touch a little bit on that. But with my work, then also my side business that I run, also with, just other appointments and just life in general. 5 days a week is just too much, honestly, to try and balance everything, or I'm having to leave work early certain days and not, it's just a lot to try and balance. So I'm just going to try and see if I could do 4 days a week, at least until, I'm able to maybe have my second surgery and then not be as much going on. But currently there's just too much happening, and trying to balance everything. It's just too overwhelming, and I really don't want that. So on the other side though, with, talking about appointments and stuff, I have been doing electrolysis and laser, which I kind of touched base on in a previous video of why I need that, and before having stage 2 in regards to all of that. So where I'm sitting at with that though, I finally have had 3 full sessions of laser, just finished actually my 3rd one 2 weeks ago, and now I'm just waiting to go in and continue with electrolysis, and I'm hoping that's where we're going to be sitting at, is that going forward I'm hoping to only be able to do electrolysis, because I've seen such a huge reduction in the hair that I've had only from the 3 sessions of laser, which has been astounding of how much I've seen a reduction compared to my arm. So I'm hoping that going forward, like I said, we would only be able to do electrolysis. But again, I'll keep you up to date on that and how many more sessions that I'll be having. Also, the total amount at the end I'll just do, because it's not going to be as much as I did in my stage 1, but the total amount of how much I've now spent going into stage 2 with hair removal and stuff. So yeah, basically right now that's the one reason why, what's holding me back from having my second surgery. But also 2 is after going through with my doctor, I did some blood work about 2 years probably prior to my surgery. We didn't ever do a follow-up, but I'm not really sure why. But coming out of my surgery in October, I did some blood work again and ended up finding out my white blood cell count is low. Not really quite sure why, but I kind of honestly just thought it was due to my surgery, and the amount of complications I had in October was pretty soon after a lot of the complications had been resolved, which I think most of them have only ended in July going into August. So I was like, my body still was healing, trying to recoup itself. Not really a big deal. I ended up doing another retest on my white blood cell count in January, which is now closing in on April will be a year. So I'm like, okay, that's, enough time. Hopefully, it'll start coming back up, because, with white blood cell count, it just takes some time for it to rebuild. But it didn't. It actually went lower. So it's kind of concerning for that it just continued to go lower and not coming back up. So my doctor ended up putting me on some prescriptions. I'm hoping that it worked, but I'm actually going for a retest here on March 15th. So I will then find out really, if it helped or not, and then where I'm sitting at currently, because if it's still in the same realm, or if it went even lower, then we have to do more testing and figure out what's going on. But, and talking on that, with a white blood cell count and it being low, what that means is if I'm to get sick, or if I'm to have surgery, that is higher risk for infections, higher risk for more complications, and higher risk for me to get sick and be sick longer. And it's just something I do not want. So we're trying to figure that out ASAP and trying to hopefully resolve that before I go into a second stage of surgery. But if we can't figure it out, it's something I need to talk to my surgeon about, because of what I went through my stage 1. I do not want to have the same outcome or worse outcomes coming out of stage 2 because of my white blood cell count being low. So I'm really not sure what that entitles. Maybe it means I have to postpone my stage 2 for a year or 2 years. I'm not sure. Maybe it means that I may have to break up my surgeries a little bit more and do more surgeries. Maybe it means you just go into stage 2 and we try and do all the precautionaries that we can. I honestly am not sure. So I'll keep you up to date on that. I'm just hoping for the best, and that we can resolve why what is causing my white blood cell count to be low, and hopefully that just is the end of that. But I'll keep you up to date on all of that and what happens in regards to that. But that's kind of, where I'm sitting at right now, is that I'm just working on my electrolysis and laser, and then also just trying to figure out the white blood cell count stuff, which also throwing that into the mix of everything with, like I said, my busy schedule. It's just a lot. So yeah, it's just trying to balance everything right now is seeming to be a challenge, but I'll figure it out. And I know going forward, I'm always going to, do what's right in my best interest. And I know that along the journey, like, I've appreciated you all sending me the positive vibes, checking in, see how I'm doing. And I just really, really appreciate that. And again, like, I do apologize on the lack of videos or lack thereof, because, just with everything going on, I wanted to take a step back and focus on myself, focus on what was going on, and trying to figure everything out along the way. So also, just before I end this video, just kind of wanted to touch base on just one more thing, which would be my arm. Everything with that is going really well. I'm still actually in physio, and I'm trying to balance that in there too. So going to physio still every week, once a week, and I'm seeing a large improvement on two things. One, the motion and strength that I've been having in my arm, but also two, the scar itself is looking really good. Strength wise, we've seen it go from, like, when I first started at 2 pounds, could barely like have any motion, to now I'm lifting about 5 to 10 pounds as being my max on just one arm. I'm around the 8-pound mark where I'm feeling comfortable. 10 pounds I can do. I just find I can't do it as much, and I'm having to take a little bit more breaks. But with my weight restrictions, I'm at around the 10-ish pound mark with one arm. Two arms is no more than 20. I'm sitting around the 15 to 20 on lifting it with both hands. But again, that's a huge improvement from where I first started. I still have a bit of a restriction on the swelling, and also like the motion of going like this. I find it still has a bit of a resistance to it. I think it's just overall, the swelling, and I don't know if I'll ever gain the full motion, but I can pretty much still do everything on my daily basis. It's just with that muscle, it still gets a bit tense sometimes, and still having a little bit of a restriction of the mobility. But overall, it doesn't really stop me from what I'm doing. It's just the amount of weight that I can bear on this hand is still not where we want it to be, but it's a lot better than where it used to be. So I am really appreciative of that, and where things are sitting at with my restrictions, and with how things are going with physio. And like I mentioned, with my overall arm scar, has been a huge improvement compared to where I was sitting at even 6 months post-op. I've seen a huge major changes in that. And maybe I'll do another separate video on touching on how things look like and what they are like now, what things we've been doing with physio, and touching on some of the new techniques that we've been doing to help actually reduce the scar, because it has helped a lot, and it's something I never really have heard of and knew about. So yeah, but all in all, I've just been really busy, like I mentioned, just have a lot going on, and just have seen a lot of changes in my life right now. And just to really appreciate, like I mentioned, you guys checking in and see how I'm doing. I'm following along on this journey, and I will try and do more in the future, but they might be a little bit more spread out than usual, just because life is getting busy and just trying to find a nice balance between everything. But anyways, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to put it in the comments. And if you have any topic ideas or suggestions on future videos, again, feel free to put that in the comments. But make sure you do like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on future videos, and hit that bell notification so that you will get notified when I do future videos. But anyways, yeah, thanks for being here, and that's it. Bye for now.